Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Cizzles, the only place to ingest the latest in technology for higher education and related services. I'm Christine Parsons, and today I would like to introduce our guest chef from the University of Virginia, Dr. Michael Kennedy. Welcome, Dr. Kennedy.
Thanks so much, Christine. Happy to be here.
So, Dr. Kennedy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. This is my 10th year at the University of Virginia. I'm an associate professor of special education. I did my doctorate at the University of Kansas. Before that, I was a special ed teacher for 9 years, mostly at a high school in Delaware. I also coached cross country and track. I've got 3 kids, and we're doing okay.
That sounds great. So tell us, what are you going to be talking about tonight?
Sure thing. So the main thing I want to talk about is the Journal of Special Education Technology, or JSET, hopefully, as you're already aware. And after, I'll connect JSET to how to make pizza, as there's a very strong connection between the two that's not at all random that I will be presenting. But I'm very excited to talk about the journal and all the exciting things that we have going, have planned, and moving forward.
Well, that's the yeast we can do, is to have you talk about JSET. Tell me, how long has JSET been around?
JSET's been, we're now in our 38th volume. So it's been a journal for quite a long time, which is really exciting. We publish 4 issues a year, haven't missed one. And JSET is actually the journal of the Innovations in Special Education Technology division within CEC. So if you're a CEC member, if you're not already an ISET member, you can add it. It's only like 20 or 30 bucks. It's really inexpensive, and you get access to a whole bunch of really nice resources, chief among them being JSET. So being an ISET member has a lot of really exciting benefits that I hope you'll be able to take advantage of.
And that fits in perfectly with our theme, which is technology and education. So this would be a one-stop place for people to go to really find out the latest research in education and technology. It sounds
precisely. Yeah, that's exactly.
What kind of an impact factor does it have?
Sure. So we were very excited that our journal finally earned its very first impact factor just this past spring when Claire Vate released their new impacts. And so our first impact factor was 1.8, which was actually far higher than my co-editor, Joe Boyle, who's at Temple, and I were expecting. And even Sage, who had sort of shepherded us through the process, sort of got us ready for it to be a lot lower than that. So when it came out at 1.8, we were really, really excited. And it's just a testament to the quality of articles that have been submitted, because the way that they generate that impact factor is a little wonky, a little random, but basically the meat of it is how many times each article has been cited in other journals. So the fact that our impact factor was so high means that researchers who are out in the field are finding JSET, reading our articles, making use of that research, and then citing it in their own papers. That's really the recipe, no pun intended. And that's so again, it's just really a testament to the high quality of papers that we've been getting for years now, and we've come to expect.
I know it's one of the first places I go when I'm looking for, technology and education. Excellent. So what kind of papers does JSET seek to publish?
Sure. So we have 2 main parts of the journal. One is original research articles. That's sort of the main part of JSET I'm sure you're most familiar with. We love all designs. So we typically publish the most, I'd say, being one of the guys who looks at literally all of them. We get a lot of single case designs, which is always terrific. We love it when they meet What Works Clearinghouse standards. We also publish quantitative papers with quasi-experiment. Sometimes we get randomized control trials, not as frequently. We'd love to get those papers. And we also are always looking for qualitative research. We just, for whatever reason, we haven't been bombarded with qualitative. So we're looking to publish high quality qualitative papers. So if you're watching this and you're a researcher in this field and you're doing qualitative work, please know that JSET is open to your papers, and we'd really be looking for them. I'd also like for you to be a reviewer. We have most of our reviewers are on the quantitative and single case side. So if you have expertise as a reviewer for qualitative, I would love to visit with you about that. The other part of JSET is what we call Tech in Action. This is a practitioner-focused column. This is where perhaps a brand new technology or a technology that exists but hasn't really been disseminated widely. You can write somewhere between a 15 and 20 page double-spaced manuscript that'll turn into a 7 or 8 page paper in the journal. It's a little bit like teaching exceptional children, but all about tech in terms of the audience and the way that you might frame that paper. And we're really thankful for Tech in Action. Melinda Alt and Margaret Bausch from Kentucky started that a few years ago when they were running things. And we're just deeply in debt to not just them for their vision about Tech in Action, but all of the past editors. I'm thinking Jim Gardner and other folks that just kept this ship afloat and really handed to Joe and I a great journal in great position to do the exciting things that we're able to do now.
How hard is it to get accepted into the journal?
Harder today than it was yesterday.
I'm sure.
You know, anytime you submit a high quality journal that has a solid review of the literature, an appropriate theoretical or conceptual framework, your methods are sound and well described. You describe the heck out of your participants to the extent that you can. And then your results are meaningful, and they don't have to be statistically significant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the results of your experiment were null, you know what? That's still a finding, and that's still worth reporting to the field. So you don't have to have a grand slam to try to get into JSET. We'll publish if the methods are good and the study didn't work out well. That's something that we want to tell people about. And then have a discussion that moves the field forward. So if you hit those beats, like I'm sure our colleagues around the field know, and our doctoral students in training are being indoctrinated into, you know, it's not an inaccessible journal. We publish about 30%, give or take, of the papers that we receive. That number is going like this because the impact vector came in. Our submissions have gone in that direction, which is excellent.
It's excellent.
Yeah, it really is nice, except for the guy who has to read them all. But that being said, we're really excited about the place we're in.
So in terms of the overall quality, what kind of things do you look for? What papers get published?
Yeah, so this is what I was saying just a second ago. So solid review of the literature, methods are clear. You know, when I read a methods section, I'm always trying to think, could I replicate this based on what's been provided? If the answer is no, or I don't even know what they did, guess what's going to happen? Okay, but when the answer is, oh yeah, that is really clear. The participants were noted really specifically. The methods were sharp. Reliability and other validity statistics around measures were provided. Those are all the quality indicators that we're looking for that will help the journal be successful and help you as an author. Because what we do is we find somewhere between 2 to 4 anonymous reviewers who are experts in that field of what your paper is about. And then we'll send it to them, invite them to review. Please say yes. And they'll send comments and make a recommendation regarding publication to Joe or myself. And then we'll use that recommendation. Most of the time we agree with what the reviewers say, but there have been instances where reviewers said one decision and we went another way. That's just how it goes.
How does one become a reviewer?
Yeah. So the very best way is to reach out to Joe or I. If you're sort of a known entity, you know, you're already a professor, we're very eager to get you added as a reviewer straight away. So you can email Joe or I a little bit about yourself if we don't already know you. And you go to Manuscript Central, create an account if you don't already have one from submitting to JSET, and be really clear with your keywords when you enter, because that's how we match manuscripts to reviewers. So be really deliberate about what keywords you select. Now, we're also open to doctoral students, advanced doctoral students as reviewers. So if you are an advanced doctoral student and you're interested in getting your feet wet with a review, we are from time to time willing to give those chances, if you will. So same thing for you, reach out to us.
Okay, great. We have a couple of questions. One is, how often does JSET do a special issue?
We do them. We like to do a special issue. Basically, they're field initiated. We have a great special issue that Don McMahon and Alexandra Hollingshead are putting together around issues of cultural relevance and diversity. This is a really an understudied area in all of technology, but particularly in special ed technology. And so they've got a call for papers out right now. I believe that those papers are due, or the prospectus is due in December. And then that journal will come out sometime in the subsequent year. So we do like to do them. If you have an idea for a special issue, what you should do is write to Joe or I, and we can make that happen.
Okay, great. One more question then. Do they publish replication studies?
Yes, we are learning so much about open science. One of my colleagues, Brian Cook, and Bill Therian and John Lloyd, who are all editors of Exceptional Children and other journals, they've taught us so much about how important it is for there to be open transparency in research, for replication of studies, because so often in technology, we do study once and conclude it works or doesn't, but we need far more than that. It's like, think about reading, where they have multiple studies working systematically to come out. We need that in technology. So we are absolutely excited about the possibility of replication. And that, as you said it, Christine, makes me think that's a special issue. So let's get thinking about how we can put that together.
I bet that would be a good opportunity for doctoral students too, to put their foot in, get a little bit their toes wet in the pool, so to say, so that they could try a replication study on their own, write something about it, and then There's reasons
why a doctoral student would want to do that. There's reasons why they'd want to get going with their own new ideas as well. There's no do this and it's gonna work, or do this and it's the right thing to do. But I really strongly endorse replication within the journal.
I think this is an important domain. Sorry for the puns. Okay. More importantly, though, let's get to what you're going to be cooking tonight.
Good. So you see behind me is our sign for my fake pizza restaurant called K-Pies. So we have waves of things happening to make pizza. It sort of goes along with the secret ingredient to good dough. You may not know this, is time. So you can't make dough now and then make pizza a couple minutes later and expect that it's going to work out. So I actually made dough yesterday for pizza that I already have in the oven that's cooking now. So I want to talk to you about how to make the dough first, and then we can talk about how to put it together. So the first thing is the kind of flour that you need. So I always buy high gluten flour for extra gluten. There's no gluten-free option here at K-Pies. We don't do that here. So
that's a big bag of flour too.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is dump about 7 cups. This is going to make 2 deep dish or 4 regular sized pizzas. So I'm going to get flour everywhere, but that's all right. So I'm going to put 7 cups into my stand mixer. Excellent. That's 4. 6. And 7. So 7 cups of my high gluten flour. I'm going to attach my whisk. And what I'm going to add to this is 4 teaspoons of kosher salt. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of regular table sugar, 2 teaspoons of malt powder. This is a secret ingredient. And then finally, I'm going to put in about 2 teaspoons of yeast. So everything's in there. Give it a nice shake. This is just mixing the dry ingredients. Okay.
So where would you get malt powder?
I order it from Amazon, just a restaurant store. I saw a blog post about making pizza one time. Somebody said they always use it when they make pizza. And so I bought some, started making it, started putting my pizza, and I detected no difference at all. So naturally, I use it every time now. It makes total sense. Okay, so what I want to add now to the dry is about 3 cups total of Goldilocks water. This is water that's not too hot, not too cold, so it can activate the yeast. I can get my water going. And while I'm doing this, I want to introduce my special guest. She is the host of her own cooking show. Come on in. This is my daughter, Molly. Say hi, Molly.
Hi.
Hi, Molly. It's so nice to have you.
Molly is the host of Molly's Cooking Show, which is available on YouTube if you want to check that out.
Oh, we're going to have to find a link for that and put it on our site so we can see. Molly, what kinds of things do you like to cook?
I like cooking sweet things and others.
2 cups of water.
Not too hot, not too cold.
Goldilocks. Okay, and I've started the mixer, so it starts to go. While it's doing that, I'm going to get about 1 more cup of water. I probably won't use the whole cup that I'm going to dump in once the dough starts to come together. Okay, and what I'm looking for is that all of the dough, it'll look like dough and it won't stick to the sides. That's really the big thing you want to have it do. So you want it to be wet, but not so wet that you're not able to use it. Okay. I'm going to dump a little bit more of my water into there. I'm going to bring the computer over so you can sort of see the action. See how the dough is coming together?
Yes, that looks beautiful.
So to pick up all the dough off the sides, I'll dump in a little bit more water as I need to make that happen. Once that's done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into a food grade bucket. I get these at Lowe's. If you go to Lowe's and go to the part of the store where you think I will not find something I'm eventually going to make food in and serve to friends and family, that's where you'll find one of these. So I take my olive oil and just line the sides and the bottom so when the dough is rising over the next day on the counter, it won't stick and it'll pick up.
Okay. Any kind of olive oil? Does it have to be extra virgin or?
Olive oil, you get what you pay for.
Okay.
And it comes out really easily.
Oh yeah. All right, so I've got here my plop of dough, and I'm just going to plop it in there, and I've got to get it off my fingers. I'm going to rub it around a little bit in the olive oil. I'm going to cover it with some plastic wrap, and I'm going to set it on the counter. Okay? For at least a day, and 2 days is preferred. The longer you can do, the more delicious your pizza is going to be.
So what would be the longest that you would leave your dough?
I would only do about 3. I do 3.
Okay.
Now, another thing you can do is refrigerate. So you could, instead of putting it in a bucket like this, you could put your dough into individual baggies, like 2 baggies or 4 if you were doing it 4, and set it on the counter or put it in the fridge, for up to that amount of time, for like a cold rise is what they call it. So I'm going to move this guy over here.
Molly, how long have you been doing YouTube videos for cooking?
Not
during the pandemic, right?
during the pandemic.
Oh, a lot of people were doing that too.
Yeah, during the pandemic and stuff.
So what grade are you in, Molly?
6th grade.
Oh, that's such a great year. Are you having a good time in school?
Yeah.
And what's your favorite subject?
I really like science.
Oh, you're my best friend right now. I love science. We can talk science all day long.
Yeah.
All right, so let's pretend a day has gone by.
Okay.
And the dough has come out of the bucket, and I've put it into one of these Detroit-style pizza pans. This is a deep dish, as you can see, pizza pan. That big plop of dough will make 2 of these. Okay. So I did this earlier so that you could see because it wouldn't work. This is about 2 hours ago. I took it out of the bucket and put it into the pan, and then I push it out all the way to the edges. Okay,
and now, you said you could you could make a thin crust pizza with this also.
You could make 4 regular size, like 4 medium 12-inch size pizzas. Okay, so Molly's going to tell you about the garlic sauce that we like to put on to this pizza. This is our Detroit garlic recipe. So go ahead, Molly, and you can explain how you do it.
Okay, so you need 2 tablespoons, teaspoons of Italian seasoning into your bowl.
Okay, that's one. Yeah, and 2. Good.
Now 6 teaspoons of
Minced garlic.
Oh, my favorite.
Oh yeah.
We have some comments coming in. If you like science, the malt powder is supposed to feed the yeast and make it a delicious crust, and that's a chemistry thing.
Aha.
Aha!
So thank you, Michelle.
Is that empty?
Yeah.
How many did you put in so far?
I put in only 3.
Thank you, Costco. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Costco. If you're I don't know.
It's fun to put in more.
Okay.
Too much garlic is not a thing.
Same thing in my house. We get the big jars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we get the big jar.
How many is that?
This is currently 4.
Okay, 2 more.
So now when you put the dough in the pan, in the Detroit pan, you said that you had left it. Are you supposed to leave it for a while?
So when I put it into the pan about 2 hours ago, I covered it in plastic wrap so it would rise a little bit, come to room temperature, and that makes it really easy to work with.
Okay.
And
so you recommend doing that even with the thin crust?
Yeah, you still need to give it time to proof.
Okay.
And now you do 6 tablespoons of olive oil.
No, 4.
4, sorry.
No, wait. Yeah, 4.
Yeah, 4. Okay. 4, sorry.
One.
This is 3.
Mm-hmm.
4.
And 1 more. No, you need a little bit more. Okay, good. Okay, go ahead. So Molly's now going to mix that up, make a nice.
Here's our stuff.
Oh yeah. And what we're going to do is we're going to.
Oh no.
It's okay. It's going on there anyway. So we're going to sort of put it onto the pizza, and I'm going to use this spatula to move it all around to cover the whole thing. Okay, perfect.
Let's pour it on now. Use this to get it all out.
Excellent. Okay, Molly, you take over with the painting.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's okay.
I got it.
You're going to be messy anyway. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So Molly's going to paint that up for us.
Science can be very messy.
It often is.
Yeah, when I do experiments at school, I always get messy.
While this has happened, I have shredded half a block of cheese. So this is about a half a pound of cheese. This is just regular mozzarella cheese. You can use any kind of cheese you want. If we were able to get brick cheese here in this part of the country, I would have used that. But brick cheese is an exotic item here in Charlottesville, Virginia, that we just can't get access to. All right, this looks great, Molly. You did a very nice job with this. All right, so Molly, why don't you explain how to do the cheese so it comes out good?
Okay, so first you do some cheese on the ends, and then you work your way.
So you want to be unlike some pizzas, you want to be all the way to the edge.
So you're not using tomato sauce then on your pizza?
This is a white pizza.
Okay, great.
Now you can make a red pizza, and in classic Detroit style, you'd actually put the sauce on top. So
okay.
You'd cook the pizza with the toppings first right on the dough, put the cheese on, and then you would go forward and put the sauce on at the very end. So here's sort of what the finished would look like. So we could pop this in the oven for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Garlic and cheese and bread in heaven.
I'm going to set my timer for 15, and it's going to come out looking like this guy.
Oh my gosh, that looks amazing.
So look at that crust. Look underneath. You know, it's got really nice cook. And just listen to
how you cut it. The ASMR time.
Oh wow!
You hear that? So it's crunchy on the edges,
and it's perfect.
So it's crunchy on the edges and the bottom, but then soft, like a pillow on
The inside.
the inside.
In the middle, actually.
So there it is. And we have
K5 boxes.
takeout boxes for our friends and neighbors who are going to enjoy
Our experiments.
this K-Pies
Deliciousness.
pizza.
That pizza would never make it out of my house for friends and family. I'm sure it would be devoured the minute it came out of the oven. So what temperature do you cook your pizza
Oh, I'm
at?
sorry. I should have said 500 degrees, as hot as your oven will go.
Oh my gosh, that is hot.
Okay, so
And for how long?
15, exactly 15 minutes. So I'm going to say thank you and goodbye to Molly. Molly's going to become the delivery girl and take this to our neighbors who have generously agreed to consume
Bye.
that pizza for us.
Bye.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you for helping.
So let me tie this together and bring this guy home.
Okay.
So the big thing is, as I was talking earlier about putting together a successful journal article, it's as intricate as all of this. As I said, you can't put it together in a day. Pizza does not come together in a day. Research articles, tech and action articles do not come together in a day. It takes teamwork. You have lots of people who are involved in either buying the ingredients or collecting data out in the field. You're using different technologies to put together everything. And these various ingredients are a lot like, you can think about them as research team members, but also thinking about them as different methodologies that all make sense. So as you think about, I was using teaspoons and cups and what have you. So these measurements, even though we were doing it kind of sloppy tonight, are very precise and done with so much foresight. And that's the way that a successful JSET research or tech and action article comes together. They're put together really specifically with a whole slew of ingredients that come together to create something that's really delicious. So like I said, it takes time. Secret ingredient is time. It takes teamwork, and it takes just a commitment to want to make something delicious or excellent that will really help to push our field forward. So there's my thoughts.
I think you definitely connected your pizza recipe with your JSET publication. I think that was amazing. And the audience agrees too. So I know I'm going to be trying that pizza recipe this weekend because we love pizza in our house. How did you get involved in making your own pizzas?
You know what? My classical training is from Little Caesars, of all things. That was my first job in high school. I worked there in college as well. So all of my technique actually traces. I still do it exactly the same way when I was a 16-year-old at Little Caesars. So it's just kind of funny. The pizza's a little better than that now. Although Crazy Bread is delicious. But then, you know, where I really started making it in earnest was when I went to Kansas, because the pizza there was so atrocious that I couldn't find anything, being from New York, that was even close to acceptable. And so that's where I really started. And then it really sharpened it over the pandemic, where my fake restaurant got opened, started hosting friends, and colleagues would come over. We'd sit socially distanced out on the front yard, and I'd sort of slide the pizza onto their table. So we had a lot of fun with it. And now I do tailgates, like before all our football games here at UVA. Faculty will come with their families, and I've got portable pizza ovens, so I can do this in the parking lot and make pizzas for them. So we have a lot of fun with it. It's a great way to build community. And there's some decent pizzas coming out too.
Oh, well, I can't wait for you to come to Florida for our cook-off so that you can make pizza for us, because that was delicious. I'm going to add in the comments the links for JSET. Did you want to talk a little bit about those?
So the Sage website, you can go to, and that's where you can get access to the journal. If you are an ISET member, you can get there through isetcec.com, but you can also just go through your regular library. So if you're a member, if your university has the journal, hopefully they do. If you're an ISET member, you can always get it through the ISET page or through that page. You just log in with your ISET credentials. And then all of our papers would be submitted through Manuscript Central.
Okay, great. So for our audience, those links are in the comment section, and then we'll add them to the CIDDL website also. Thank you so much, Dr. Kennedy. This was so much fun. And thank you to Chef Molly also. This was really great. I would say that right now that you're the custodian of pizza love.
Oh, thanks so much. This was fun to do. I really like this series, so keep up with the good work.
Thank
Christine,
you.
You and your team, excellent job.
Thank you so much. And for our audience, make sure you check out the CIDDL website at ciddl.org and follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. We have some very exciting things coming up. We have a webinar next week, so make sure that you go and check out the website for all of the exciting programs that we have. We're going to take a little break from CIDDL Cizzles for the first week of November for the Teacher Education Division of Council of Exceptional Children Conference in Texas. Some of our chefs will be there, so please look them out. I know Dr. Kennedy will be there. So look for our chefs and tell them what you think about their recipes. And then we will return November 18th for another episode with Dr. Sean Smith. So join us as we have where he'll be cooking up a storm. Again, don't forget to go to ciddl.org for more information. Thank you again, Dr. Kennedy and Molly, and we'll see you soon.
Take care, everybody.